Roommates, what was the one rule you broke that changed everything? I found a man I didn't know sleeping in my bed, using my sheets and my t-shirt as a pillow with my underwear drawer open. The room smelled like beer and sweat. It was my space, invaded without permission. I lived with 2 roommates, Anna and Marcos. The day we moved in, we agreed on a few rules, but one was basic. No one brought overnight guests without warning and without all 3 of us agreeing. We stuck it on the fridge because I needed to know who was inside to be able to rest. Anna was the one who pushed that rule the hardest, so I trusted her. That morning, I left early for work, I locked my door, and left an envelope with the rent money in my desk drawer. In our group chat, I told them I would be home late and asked that the night be quiet with no extra people. Anna replied with a simple, okay. Marcos didn't even answer. My shift ended early and I went back to the apartment. As I walked up the stairs, I smelled greasy food and heard loud music behind our door. Inside, there were empty cans, dirty dishes, and 2 backpacks that weren't ours. I went straight to my room and saw the door half open, even though I remembered leaving it closed. I pushed the door and found the stranger snoring on my bed using my blanket with his socks thrown on the floor. My drawer was badly closed, my bra was hanging off the edge, and the rent envelope looked like it had been moved. I opened it and counted the money with shaking hands. Several bills were missing, the same ones I had put in that morning. In the kitchen, I found Anna with her phone in her hand. When she saw me, she put it away quickly and rushed to tell me not to make a scene, that he was just a friend of Marco's, that he had drunk too much and had nowhere to stay. When I mentioned the money, she insisted I had probably spent it and forgotten. She looked at me with pity, as if the problem was my memory. Marcos appeared behind her, his breath smelling like beer. He said the rule was flexible, that he wasn't going to throw a friend out on the street because of my issues with strangers. He brought up the times they had covered for me when I was late with rent, as if that gave them the right to decide who slept in my bed and who touched my things. I didn't want to scream. I went back to my room and started taking pictures. The open door, the man in my bed, the drawer in chaos, and the almost empty envelope. They weren't for social media. They were for me, so I wouldn't doubt myself later when they tried to rewrite the story. I packed my laptop, my documents, and some clothes in a backpack. While the stranger kept snoring, I understood that the rule only meant something to me. I opened a rental app and checked a listing I had saved days ago. A girl looking for a calm roommate, no parties and no constant guests. I wrote to her right then explaining that I needed to get out of my apartment that same afternoon. Her reply came fast. She offered me her couch for a few days while the room opened up. With that, my decision was sealed. I went to the kitchen, left my copy of the key on the table, and wrote a short note for Anna and Marcos, reminding them of the rule we signed and the missing money. I added that I would talk to the landlord by email to formalize my leaving. I didn't wait to see their reaction. I walked out with my backpack on my shoulder and the bag with my blanket in my hand. As I went down the stairs, I could still hear the music and the laughter above me, as if nothing serious had happened. For them, it was probably just an exception to a silly rule. For me, that night set a final boundary. I lost a nice apartment, but I got back the feeling that my bed and my money were only mine. And I understood that a rule broken once was already enough for me to leave. It was a very hard decision.